And the wake-up call, I think, for all of us, including the private sector, is that this is happening with Russia, but be ready, this is going to happen with China in the next 5 to 10 years. China owns 75% of all the raw materials for the medicine world, for the healthcare, for the production of medicine, and they own 95% of all the raw materials for the renewable energy. So everybody wants to get rid of gas and oil, fossil fuel, and that's in itself great. It's for the climate very important. Nobody wants nuclear energy. So we all want air, we all want wind and solar energy, which is great, but most of the raw materials are owned by China. And if China if she is going to do this, what Putin has done in 5 to 10 years, we have a serious problem. And therefore, we have to become much more resilient. That's not only a problem for the government, it's also a problem for the private sector.
I think we're going to be hearing from a lithium miner later, so we can pick up on that.
And I found the IKEA CEO yesterday. Where are you? Are you still here?
Yeah.
No.
He had to get back to...
Yeah, he has to walk around the store, which is great. And look at the Billy. So he said, 25% of his raw material came from Russia. And he had to change that overnight, basically. So that is the sort of thing, and we can talk a little bit about what I think businesses should think about.
Let's talk about that. Yeah, what does this mean, the resilience, readiness, broader thinking mean for...
So it's not only the military that has to prepare, or the governments that have to prepare for war. But I think the businesses have to prepare for war as well. And it is the dependencies I talked about, the raw materials. There's the IKEA example we heard yesterday. BMW had all their cables produced in Ukraine, 2 factories, because of great quality of workers. And those factories were gone in the first 2 weeks of the war. And so BMW didn't have any cables anymore. And that is the sort of thing in terms of if you go to the countries where labor is cheapest or certain expertise is the best or whatever the arguments are to go somewhere, then that is fine and understandable, but we have to become much more strategic. And for toilet paper, I don't care where it's made, but for certain things, I think we have to consider bringing back production to Europe, to North America, to make sure that in our, let's say, alliance territory, we are able to produce certain things that are essential for our security, for our economy. And that debate means that certain products will become more expensive. So we have to explain that to our consumers, our citizens. And that is a difficult thing for politicians. But I think it is necessary because we have been extremely naive. We have been thinking about, many people have been thinking about the world how they would like it to be in the last 30 years and not necessarily how it actually looks like. And we the military, were always seen, and the intelligence services in particular, were seen as the pessimists and the people that were always looking for trouble. But I think we have neglected those signs that were there. Russia since 2008 in Georgia, 2014 Crimea, 2022 the whole war in Ukraine. We knew they were behaving differently. And still we said, no, we need them. Economically, we need them. Nord Stream, all the things we heard about. And then they were suddenly not as friendly as we wanted them to be. And then suddenly they used economic weapons against us. And everybody was surprised, and actually we shouldn't. So I think the wake-up call also for the businesses is you have to think about what would you do, and maybe I can ask the question to the public if you allow me, which company in this room actually thinks about what do I have to change, what do I have to do if war hits us?